Okay, welcome back to part two, Burgos to Ponferrada. Okay, so this was the entrance to the old part of Burgos. My hotel was actually right inside that arch to the left. It's a really nice hotel. Um, all automated and everything to get in. It was pretty cool. And I kind of took another shot going in. It was kind of weird how you go from a modern world and you step inside and then it's all old. And then you get in, this is part of the shopping area. It was a huge, huge area inside. It was really a interesting little town. It was one of my favorite places to go. This is more a shopping area. The shops are actually under the arches there. You can't really see them from here, but it's very busy during the day. And then this is inside the Burgos Cathedral. I got several shots inside the cathedral. In comparison to the Duomo in Milan, there is no comparison. This was a sizable cathedral, but the beauty wasn't on par with the Duomo, although they're all Catholic churches and the basic architecture seems to be the same. Um, it has a this church had a less of an ornate quality to it. I mean, there was a lot of gold and there was a lot of other stuff in there, but and I took several pictures. Only I limited the amount of pictures that I took in this church, of course, because there was just too much to put on here. This picture here, this was this skylight, I guess I'll call it. This was something else. And then these arched windows, just multiple hallways like this with these arched windows that would let in a lot of light. This was actually a courtyard out just outside the city wall of Old Town there. It's a real pretty area. And then there was a concert playing. You can hear it here maybe a little bit in this picture. I'm not sure, but in the next one, next slide for sure, you're going to hear it. There was an American woman that was performing on like a gazebo type thing, amphitheater type thing, in the courtyard there. She was a jazz singer and she was singing a lot of different tunes out there. And she spoke very fluent Spanish, but she is, by her singing, you could tell she was very American.
I want to lose them. Your goodbye left me without cry. How can I love you?
This is a map just to kind of put in here for reference. It was in the church. Shows my exact route that I was taking on this trip. And then everywhere you would go in some of these smaller towns, you would see these collages. This is actually on the entire side of an entire building. There were several of them. There was that one, this one here, worshiping some of the Earth's and sciences human rights heroes. I think is what they were primarily concerned with. And then, of course, everything here is has religious connotation to it, as well as the agriculture. Farming is probably the biggest thing in this region, ranching and farming. All right, now we're clearly on the Meseta. There's only three things that move on the Meseta: windmills, wind, and you. That's about it. And then here, I'm not sure. I don't remember what town this is we were coming into, but it was a lot of the towns you came down into them like that. There's another sunrise. I had to turn around, take that picture as well. And oh, there's the contrails in the sky. I'm sure somebody will say those are chemtrails. Here are some more non-working windmills. They were everywhere. And on the Meseta, I was surprised there wasn't much wind. We It's supposed to be an extremely windy area, but fortunately, it wasn't blowing me all over the place. So I was kind of happy. And then this is a place I stopped coming out of that part of the Meseta in Hontañas. I had a really good meal there. It's good, good. Some of these little towns are really cool places to stop. And this is an old abandoned or ruins of a convent, I guess I should say, before we go into the next town. Here we're getting ready to go into Castelleris. there we stayed in me and my friends, my Korean couple, we stayed in a all Korean hostel. It's all Korean food. It's run by a Korean woman. One of my better stays in multi-bed hostels, I have to say. Was very impressed with the service and very impressed with the food. This was leaving Castorieri's in the morning, so I always tried to get pictures going out of a town as well as going into a town. And then we ran this food truck out in the middle of nowhere. Um, they do a booming business. There aren't very many of them, but almost all of them are run by volunteers. And then here we have just a little more artwork. Some of it's pretty good. The rest of it's just regular graffiti. Nobody seems to mind it there, though. They just everybody deals with it. It's um, it's just a normal thing there. Where here we'd probably paint over all the walls and stuff. So just a little some road shots. This was kind of a long stretch that followed a canal, and the canal actually had a boat that you could take to go to take you to the next town. And then here, I think I'm heading in to Carrion de los Condes. This isn't the town. This is the one right before it. But I ended up going there and then catching a bus that would took me into another town. So this is Carrion de los Condes. Beautiful scene here at a river. You can't, I couldn't hear it in the video, so I took the audio out, but they were playing soccer on the other side of this bridge that you're going to see here in a second. And just soccer's so huge over there. And now this lady and her husband playing with their dog in the water. It was really a nice park area, not very close to my hotel actually. So I just went out for a walk that day. And this is in Lyon. I didn't get any pictures in Lyon except for this cathedral. I was actually on a hunt for shoes to try and replace the ones I had, but no success. And then this was in can't remember the name of the town, but there was a cat when I went to a panaderia, and this cat ended up seeing I had a loaf of bread and came over and I fed him some bread. This is in Hospital de Orbigo. This was actually a place run by two Italian women that had moved there and opened this place up. Really good Italian food. Yeah, that was entertaining for us. And then here on the way to Astorga, there was a kind of a hippie commune here. They put out all this food and stuff for breakfast, and it was all free. They expected donations, so just throw in a euro or two and take what you want. And this is the cathedral in Astorga. I went and took the tour of the museum, or not the museum, but the actual cathedral. And then this is the museum. I'm not sure what the purpose of that museum was, but it wasn't open when I was there. It was very modern though on the outside looking. And actually, there's the name of it right there. So I can't read it right now, or I would tell you what it says. Maybe you can see it. And this is one of the entry doors. The ornate work on all of these cathedrals was really fantastic. It was fascinating to look at. And then more inside this cathedral, looking down one of the long corridors. But here we're just going to be looking at a bunch more pictures inside the cathedral. I was just fascinated with the ceilings. The ceilings always grabbed me. Um, but there were quite a few people there. I was surprised. It was a rainy day, but there were quite a few tourists that were coming in and out of the cathedral. And then while you're in there, they also occasionally have church services. So They'll block off a portion of that. That's the main altar area right there of the cathedral. A tour group had just left. And then going into Santa Catalina.
Santa Catalina. Kind of a neat walk into the town. Big old bird up there by that bell tower. Looks like one of those goofy pelicans again. Let's see if I can get some coffee here. Okay, that was some of the worst coffee I've ever had on the Camino. And the guy insulted America, so I left. He's blaming the price of his carrot cake on America. He wants $6 a slice for carrot cake, claiming it'd be more expensive in Ponferrada, which is my ultimate destination. Probably, well, I'll pass through it tomorrow. He seemed like he was a little off anyway, but he insulted everybody that wanted to get something to drink. It was ridiculous. And the guy said, yeah, this isn't, coffee is much better than probably that other guy's tea, because the guy said his tea was terrible. And he was right, the coffee was terrible. So I drank about half of it and left. It's cheap, it's only like €2, so I wasn't too concerned about it, but keep walking onward. It's about 50 degrees, and it's about 100% humidity. I'm sweating at 50 degrees. Got about 10 more miles, or no, 10 kilometers to go, and I'll be down for the day.
And here we got your typical cows. There's cows everywhere in this country, I swear. And then we found, for some odd reason, there were teepees. They were in bad shape, but it looked like I saw those. Then the rest of the video, I'll just let the sound play out.
Okay, this is what I've been walking in all morning. You can see it's all fog, low clouds. I'm trying to get to Rabanal del Camino, where we'll stay the night. Some guys on their bicicletas riding the Camino. You can do it on a bike. You can do it on a horse. Or you can walk. Those are the only ways you can do it and get a certificate. And there are rules, more rules. I'll get to those later. Okay, I don't know how much of this you can see. I started before light today, so I started at 6. All uphill, trying to get to Cruz de Ferro. If you all saw the movie, you know where that is. It's where you got to place a rock. Well, you don't place it. The movie shows contrary to tradition. Tradition says you turn your back to the cross to throw the stone over your shoulder. It shows that you're putting your sins behind you, never to remember. Catholic tradition for this trail. Anyway, you can see this little rocky mess right now. It's a little hard to navigate in the dark, but I did it. Now we're almost to the top. I can see the radio tower, so the cross isn't far. I'll tune in again later. Okay, here we are. Sorry for the format of the lens here. I got to turn my camera board. Phone Sebadon. Say good morning, ladies. There's some moo cows over there. They're just getting up. Hoping to get something to drink, coffee, something. My stomach is upset from jostling around on all those rocks. It's almost like, motion sickness from walking. It's really weird. Anyway, Fonse Bidon, next is Cruz de Ferro. I'll get you a video up there, hopefully, if the clouds aren't too bad. If you look way off to there, It looks like that's where it is. Up there, it's usually up in the clouds. So hopefully not, because that's pretty stinking high. All right, see you a little later.